We'll give you a few baby updates, but we're not going to go deep on those. We also have Rene Galvez from the kindergarten to college team. There's going to talk to us about the next phase of the promise. So after Brilliant Baby, what's to expect with kindergarten to college. We have Maria Sujo from OUSD. She's a kindergarten readiness manager, and she's going to talk to you all about the transition to kindergarten. And we also have Lisa from Enroll Oaks. She's the ED, talking to you all about school enrollment. So with that, if you can all share in the chat box just a piece of information of what inspired you to attend today. We want to hear from you. What made you come today? So just take a couple of minutes to share with us.
We have a few answers coming in. Someone, Yadira, has a 3-year-old ready for preschool and to gain social skills.
Great.
And Renee is very happy to share information about enrolling children to elementary school and answer questions that folks may have. Annie has a 5-month-old and would like to hear more about the programs and how they will benefit. Maria is very happy to meet the future enrollees of Oakland Unified School District.
So cool.
Folks are really excited to hear about enrolling and their children being 3.5 or ranging in different ranges and how this information can benefit them.
That's wonderful. All right. Well, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. We share your excitement. All right. So let's keep moving now and just giving you a little bit of updates on our end. So what's going on in our world with Brilliant Baby? We have now over 759 Brilliant Babies with college savings accounts. So your babies are part of this beautiful community. And that means that there is in the market over 355,000 for college designated for your Brilliant Babies. So we're very excited about how the market is performing right now, because that means that your accounts are definitely seeing some changes, just going up. Feedback from our families, 85% say that Brilliant Baby has had a positive influence in the way in which they think about their child's future. And you all know that many of you are actually participating in financial coaching. And if you aren't, or if you haven't, you can always contact us if you're interested in participating in financial coaching so that we can assignate you a coach to work with you on your financial goals. And participation is attached to incentives. So we can talk to you all about that. But the feedback that we get from our families, 77% of our families are completely satisfied or somewhat satisfied, 11% with their family's progress towards achieving their financial goals. So it's a great program if you would like to participate, if you haven't. All right, so before we jump in, I just want to make sure that you're aware that we are still working to enroll families in Brilliant Baby. So if you happen to know babies that are eligible for the program, please refer them to us. I will show you this little video of recruitment. And yeah, so wanted to share this with all of you, just so you're aware that we're always happy to receive referrals from all of you. There you go. So that's a reminder for y'all that if you refer babies that end up being enrolled in Brilliant Baby, you can participate in monthly raffles. We are raffling gift cards of $50. So when someone joins us and if we ask them who referred you to the program and it's a family that is already a part of Brilliant Baby, we add that name to our monthly raffle. So hopefully you can identify some families that would be eligible for the program. And contact us if you have any questions. All right, so with that, I don't want you. With that, let me introduce you to Rene Galvez, who is here from kindergarten to college, is the next program in the continuum of the Oakland Promise after Brilliant Baby. And she is going to talk to you all about what to expect from the Oakland Promise during elementary school.
Thank you, Dulce. My name is Rene Galvez, and I am one of your program coordinators with the kindergarten to college team, like Dulce mentioned. So my job, along with my teammates, is to work and support your students at 62 different elementary schools here in Oakland, doing a couple of different things. So if you have a child at any of our partner schools, your child is eligible to open up a free college savings account, just like with Brilliant Baby. We also provide you with incentive money to open up that account. And then also a really wonderful thing that we do at the elementary schools where you might have some of your other children is we provide all kindergarten through 4th grade students with a $100 early college scholarship. So all students are eligible. You don't need to do anything for that scholarship. That is our promise to your kindergartners. And the other thing that we do is we help your students start experiencing and promoting college, right? So start thinking about the careers that they want and start thinking about how to make that a goal, you know, and talk about it amongst your family. And then really, as you know, we have also made changes since we've gone virtual, and 2 of those changes that we've made have been really big and really great. One of them has been our family leadership groups. So those are happening almost every single month this school year, and they are much like this group. So we talk about different things that benefit you and your child, anywhere from financial literacy to how to help your child enroll in high school. And then the other wonderful thing that we have done with our programming this year is we've also expanded to working with more of your children that are in middle school. So we are working with Claremont, Parker, La Escuelita, and Greenleaf as well. And if you have any further questions on how to open up a college savings account or to see if your child has received that scholarship, I will leave my name and information in the chat so you can contact me. And thanks so much for having me.
Oh, I was muted. Thank you, Rene. Do we have any questions for Rene regarding kindergarten to college? And I cannot see the chat. So Alexis, if you can help me with that, if there are any questions there.
No questions at the moment, just excited to get into enrollment and how to register children for kindergarten.
Beautiful. All right, wonderful. So thank you, Rene, for that participation. And now we have Maria Sujo. She is oh. Do we have someone? Okay. Maria Sujo is the Kindergarten Readiness Manager of Oakland Unified School District, and she's going to talk to you all about how to support the transition to kinder for our families.
Hi all, it's great to be here with you. My name is Maria Sujo and I'm the Kinder Readiness Manager at OUSD. And this is a great time to connect with you as our enrollment window has now opened for TK through 12th grade. And we're also continuously enrolling for preschool. So happy to be here with you all. So today, what I'd like to chat with you a little bit about before we get into the nuts and bolts about the actual enrollment process is a bit about how to prepare your child for school. So some essential kindergarten readiness skills that really range from birth to 5 years old. Things that families can do, and also some things to think about once school starts. And then we're going to head off into the kinder and TK enrollment process. So in thinking about school readiness, oftentimes people ask, what is kindergarten readiness? What is the checklist? What do my children need to know in order to be ready for school? And I'd like to offer you the way in which we think about school readiness, but we think of it as really being a set of necessary skills, knowledges, and dispositions for learning and school success. And it really entails the effort of the family, the community, and the school to come together to really support our children's readiness for school. So it's not so much children having a particular skill set, which is helpful, but it's also about relationships and the adults in their community coming together to help them and to support them, much like how we're all congregated right now to think about how to support our youngest learners. So I want to start off with just talking a little bit about 3 essential skills or dispositions that really support early school success. And that's language development, having self-help skills like independent skills, and also the importance of attendance. So children showing up to their programs every day on time. And I know that right now, some of our children who would normally be in a preschool or maybe a daycare center are not necessarily attending in person, but attendance also does involve showing up on time for a Zoom circle time or a Zoom music and movement. So the importance of having those strong routines. But before we move forward, I do want to acknowledge that we are absolutely in a new and different reality during the pandemic. And the most important thing right now is that we stay safe. Staying safe means that we're not necessarily in person and we're connecting in this new and virtual way. So I really want to urge families to stay connected even when we're at a distance, whether that's staying connected to your brilliant baby care team, or if you're entering preschool or elementary school, stay connected to the school site so that you have information about what to expect, how to support your child, and to stay on top of enrollment. So I want to offer you a few websites that will help you stay connected to us. The first one, and if Dulce, you can put this or somebody can put it in the chat, that would be fabulous, is to check out our OUSD enrollment website up here at the top. But if, getting online is something that is not available to you, you could always call and leave a message in whatever language is most available to you. Thank you, Renee, so that somebody can return your call. There's also the early childhood education department. So if you're interested in preschool, so that's for children that are 3 to 5 years old. This is also our website, the early childhood department, and their phone number. If you'd like to call, again, you could leave a message. We don't really have people on site right now. The grab and go sites, Dulce, if we could click on that and show families what it is, that'd be great. The grab and go sites are an array of different schools throughout Oakland where families can pick up meals or sign up for a meal delivery system, which is new now. And children, I think it's 1 to 18 or 2 to 18 years old can receive free meals. So all the information is here as far as how to sign up for the delivery, where Dulce is hovering, and on the bottom, you could also see where the locations are. This is also an opportunity for you to get information if you want to see a real life person. Thank you. And lastly, I always like to share out the amazing programming that our Oakland Public Libraries are offering right now. If you are able to click on this website, or if we could put it on the chat, that'd be great as well. The libraries offer meal services. You can sign up to pick up books at certain sites, or you could just drive up and they give you a bag of books according to what grade or your age your child is in. They have tutoring services, all kinds of great resources for children to continue learning and developing during the pandemic. So I highly suggest perusing this website. Thank you. And just, I think that right now, one of the most important things is to just stay connected and to stay compassionate with our children and with yourselves. We are not in our usual business as usual. We're doing this at a distance. If your child is having some connections online, you might notice that it's a little bit challenging, and it's because it's challenging on all of us, and children have a little less language to describe their feelings than adults do. So always stay compassionate with yourself and your babies. Okay, so moving on to essential kindergarten readiness skills. One that I always like to share with families is language development. And so examples of some of the skills that you can practice with your children for school readiness around language development are children knowing their name and their last name. You can start this as children just start to talk, knowing what their last name is and the names of their family members, learning words through real life. Through real life experiences. So a lot of times when you're cooking or cleaning, maybe doing laundry, going about your day, talking and describing, narrating what you are doing is really helpful for children to hear a lot of words. The more words that children know, the more words that they have for different concepts. And also talking about what they like. If your child likes Power Rangers, if your child likes unicorns, whatever it is that they're interested in, it's always good to talk about that because they'll be engaged and you'll have an opportunity to offer a lot of language and a lot of words to support their development. Also, sharing books at home. This is a very important one as well, because one of the most important things that happens in early human development is learning to read. So developing is great. If it's available to you, setting some time aside so that you could share books. It doesn't have to be 15, 30 minutes. It could even be 10 minutes, 5 minutes to just look at a book or have a child look at it and tell you what they see. Read books that have repetitions or rhymes, or sing songs that, as long as they're hearing lots of words and maybe looking at the pictures to describe what's happening, is great. If you have an infant, if you have a 10-month-old baby or a 1-year-old, giving them soft cardboard books to play with, it initiates a love for books and it becomes a part of their environment, which is also really helpful for developing that love for books. Another thing that I would like to put out right now is if there's any ways in which you currently share books with your children at home, no matter what age they are, can you please share that in the chat so we could read a few and just share some of the collective wisdom that is in this group right now. So let's just take like 30 seconds to share any ways in which you read with your child. Let's see, Renee said, reading in any language at home is key. They will still learn to love literacy. That's right. Any language, whether your language is Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, or even if you're not reading a book, maybe you're just looking at the pictures or singing a song. That's also really helpful.
We have bath.
Awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you reading that?
Yeah, it says we have bath books are awesome, and teaching books don't go in the bathtub.
That's right.
And they're always reading before bed. It's relaxing and easy to get a close and snuggle.
Beautiful. That is a great way.
Ooh,
I
okay.
at the library and I get baby books and then a book for my son and we read them together. Thank you so much for sharing, Yadira. And your older children, if you have older children at home, can be helpers too in reading, and it also helps reinforce their love and interest for reading. Thank you so much for sharing. Self-help skills. This is another school readiness skill that we don't always think about, but developing independence is very important for starting preschool or kindergarten or transitional kindergarten. So things like children learning to feed themselves with utensils is really important. As they start school, they'll always have the support of their teachers, but it's going to be a little bit less than it would be at home. So learning how to open your own like milk carton or feed themselves is really important for independence. Walking to the class from their car, carrying their own backpack, and helping to clean up. And there's ways in which you can support your child at home. And that's, they dump out their Legos or they dump out their toys, you can always help them, but instilling that sense of responsibility and independence will surely help them when they get to school. And remember that when they start school, there's other kids that they'll be starting school with. So it's not just them. And so independence definitely is very important. Also learning to button up their pants after they use and zipping up their pants, buttoning them is all really essential for being ready to learn. And lastly, another thing that also really helps with being ready for school and being able to attend to learning is school every day on time. And so we talk about chronic absenteeism and what that means. And so what we notice is in the earlier grades, like preschool, kindergarten, and transitional kindergarten, children often miss a lot of school, more so than we see in the older grades. And there's a belief that, oh, they're little, it's okay. If they don't want to go to school or if they're feeling a little sick, like let them stay home. And the reality is that those grades are fundamental for building the skills for learning to read, for socializing with other children. And it's really important that they come to school every day on time as they're learning so much. And missing school can affect their learning. If your child is receiving special ed services, if they miss school or they are late, they might miss those services. And it also is disruptive to their self-regulation. When children show up to school late, a lot of times it's kind of hard to get into the swing of it. And you can think of it as if you're an adult and you arrive late to a meeting or a party or a congregation, of course, not right now because it's COVID, but when you walk in late to something, sometimes you feel a little uncomfortable, and children experience that as well. And it could affect their ability to attend to their schooling and learning. So making sure that no matter what it is, whether you're online and showing up to a circle time, or it's preschool or kindergarten, making sure that they arrive to school on time every day is really essential for their learning. Some strategies that families can practice at home for school success is to communicate with your teachers regularly. They love hearing from you. I know that, as I mentioned, we're virtual right now. So if your child is attending any sort of program, make sure to stay connected. It's really important. Parents are our biggest co-conspirators of this work of educating young children. So if you have questions or concerns, it's always really good that you connect with your teachers. If we were in person, which I know at some point we will to some degree, checking your child's backpack for school notes or anything that the teacher might be sending home. And as I mentioned earlier, stay connected to us through our websites or a Facebook page. If your child is going to be starting kindergarten or TK in the fall and there's a school that you have in mind, see if that school has a Facebook page. They might have most of our schools right now have websites. So, so stay connected. And I will also share my email address in the chat here shortly. If you have any questions, you could always reach out to me and we could figure out if I know the answer, I'd be happy to answer it for you. If not, we'll find somebody who does. And let's see, we can advance to the next slide. I think this is the last one for me. Yeah. And so my colleague will soon be talking about, Lisa, about the nuts and bolts of enrollment. I know that many families have questions about that, and that'll be really important to also hear. But if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and mute yourself, or if you want to put it in the chat, I'll be sure to answer your questions.
Thank you, Maria. That was so great. So helpful information. Let's give a minute for families if they have questions for Maria, or even Renee. Yeah, and if there are no questions, we can move now to the technical part of how do we enroll actually our babies in elementary school. And this is why we have Lisa Gibbs de Gac from Oakland Enrolls. Just also talking about how to choose the best Oakland public school for your child. And Lisa, now the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Dulce. And thank you, Maria, for all that great information as well. I'm excited to be talking to you all today. You're doing already the right thing by attending this workshop and learning about enrollment. So you're in the right place. So we are going to talk a little bit about how to enroll. We'll talk a little bit about the tools and resources that Oakland Enrolls provides to help you with that. We'll talk about the timeline of next steps and how you can actually be sure to do everything by the time it needs to be. Also, I know a lot of you may be attending this. Your kids might not be quite yet of the age going into transitional kindergarten or kindergarten. Maybe they're going to pre-K. But even if they aren't going into school this upcoming fall, you'll have this information. You can share it with your family and friends. You can have it for future years as well. So we're really glad you're here. Next slide, please. Thank you. So Oakland Enrolls, we're an organization based here in Oakland that works with families to help you all make informed choices about your public school options. We're trying to make the process of actually selecting and enrolling in a public school easy, efficient, and equitable. We actually live here in a choice district, which means that you don't have to go to the school that's closest to you, which is kind of the case for a lot of cities. I know it was like that where I grew up. You have the option of actually applying to any of the schools that exist across the city, both district and charter schools. And so we know that there's no one school that fits every single child. You all have different children with different hopes and dreams, different interests, and we want to be sure to help you find a school that's the best fit for you. And we want to make that process as easy as possible. Next slide, please. So here you'll see a map of Oakland. Every single one of these little colored squares and dots here represents a different school. So there are 120 different schools. That doesn't mean that there are 120 different elementary schools. So I don't want to overwhelm you too much, but there still are a lot of options to be considering, and you're in your children or family members that are older. So this information applies to all of you who are considering going to a new school next year. So just to let you know, all the schools that we work with and we'll be sharing information about today are publicly funded, which means that they are tuition free to all families. So nobody has to pay anything to go to them, and they're open to all students, regardless of any needs that you might have. Next slide, please. So Oakland Enrolls does a lot of different things, but the core things that we do are we provide a family support center for families just like you who have questions about enrollment, questions about applications, who need help on actually getting those applications in. So you can call us, you can check out our website, you can text us, you can email us. During COVID times, unfortunately, we don't have our office open right now, but typically, during other times, you'd be able to come in person. We also work with OUSD, so we partner with OUSD to run Oakland School Finder, which is a website, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But that's a website where you can find all the information about the district and charter schools in Oakland, and you can also access the applications via that website. And we also do lots of workshops just like this, where we talk to families about how to enroll and get the word out. Next slide. Thank you. So as Maria mentioned, applications. So the enrollment window opened this past week, this past Monday. And so they are currently open and they will stay open until February 5th. So that's about 3 months. But we do encourage everybody to get their applications in soon, because we don't want anybody to forget and miss this deadline, because an on-time application is the best application. And I'll explain a little bit why. So when you apply on time, so between November 16th and February 5th, that means that you will then be entered into a lottery. So OUSD has one big lottery for their schools, and charter schools each have individual lotteries. And what happens is, actually, if you could go to the next slide. Thanks. Here you'll see after February 5th, that is when the applications close. On March 11th is when there will actually be a lottery that takes place, and you will all find out where you got offers to schools. So if you don't apply by February 5th, you will not be included in that lottery. And if you are not included in that lottery, you might not get into the school that you really want to get into, because after that point, a lot of the seats, a lot of the spots will be taken up. The applications will still be open after that point, but they'll be considered a late application, which means that they will not be entered into the lotteries, and it will be more first come, first serve. And so to get your best shot of getting into the school of your choice, whether a district or a charter school, be sure to get those applications in by February 5th. And the place where you can do that is on oaklandschoolfinder.org. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Great. So oaklandenrolls.org, that's our website. You can also access Oakland School Finder, which is the website I just talked about, where you can access the applications and all the information about schools. You can do that here if you click on the orange button where it says Explore. Thank you. And then if you want to just go directly to the applications, that's fine too. You can click on those in step 2, either charters or district. So there are 2 separate applications that you'll be considering. If you want to apply to charter schools, you'll need to go to the charters button. If you want to apply to district schools, you'll need to go to the district button. And those are 2 separate applications. We also offer lots of other information and resources on our website, as well as school tours and events. So schools that are offering virtual tours right now, you can see which ones those are and figure out how to sign up there.
We have a question.
Yes.
Is this website offered in other languages in addition to English and Spanish?
So our website, unfortunately, is just in English and Spanish, but we're actually going to talk very briefly. If you want to go to the next slide, actually. Yes, thank you. Oakland School Finder is offered in 7 different languages. So this is a website I would recommend everyone on this call check out. So Oakland Enrolls you can check out, but actually if you're going to remember one website today, it's oaklandschoolfinder.org. And of course, all the amazing websites that Maria shared, I don't want to take away from that, but oaklandschoolfinder.org is where you can access a lot of other information. So you'll have, as you can see here, you can search for schools by grade. You can search by schools by your address, so where you're closest to. You can also, if you've heard of a school, you aren't sure about it, but you want to learn more, you can search by that school directly as well. And you can see there's a lot of different ways of being able to access information. Yeah, also, I just want to share this year, there's some new tools and resources here. So not only is it multilingual? So up in the top right-hand corner where there's it's a little hard to see in this, but there's a little orange bar that says English. If you click on that, that is where you can see the menu of other languages. So that's where you'll be able to select other languages if you choose. And then the whole website and everything on it will translate to that language, as well as the applications. I also want to point out where the applications are in that top bar where it says apply to district schools in the green, yep, and then apply to charter schools right to the right of it in blue. That is where you access those applications. So you can access them on oaklandenrolls.org, or you can access them here on oaklandschoolfinder.org. So once you feel like you've done your research and you know where you want to apply, you can open up those applications and you can submit those applications. They are, I would set aside, maybe 5 to 20 minutes. Like the charter application, you don't have to submit any kind of documentation at this stage around proof of address or anything like that. The OUSD application does require a few pieces of documentation. So just be sure to give yourself enough time to sit down and do those. But if you have any questions or any kind of hiccups along the way, we can certainly help. A few things I want to point out too on Oakland School Finder are this year for the first time, Maria mentioned this a little bit, but the preschool application for OUSD preschools is now on Oakland School Finder, which is really great. And we're really happy to see that this year. So you can find out more there. And then you can also see in the menu is where you can find school events also. So I mentioned school tours. That is another place where you can access those tours. So you can find out which schools are offering opportunities to share more about their school with families just like you. We also have a new tool this year called, we're calling it kind of chances of getting an offer, or lottery offer data tool, which basically helps you figure out what your chances are of getting into any particular school because some schools have more demand than others. So that means that those spots might fill up more quickly, or their wait list might be longer. And so we want to help you all figure that out, because we usually recommend that families apply to multiple schools. Just applying to one school, you might not actually get into that school. We want to be sure that you have a few options. So we recommend usually applying, if you're going to consider charter schools, apply to more than one, apply to a few, even more than that. There is no limit, actually. If you're applying to OUSD schools, similarly, apply to a few, don't just apply to one. We usually recommend that families apply to both district and charter schools, just again, to give themselves options. And by submitting those applications, you're not committing to anything. You're not saying, I'm going to go here. You're simply giving yourself the option that if you receive an offer, you can consider that. A couple other things. So when you actually go and look at each of the schools on oaklandschoolfinder.org, there's a lot of really great information. So I encourage you to take some time to explore all the different schools. You can click on each individual one, or if you do those searches by school or by address or by grade, you can find those. But basically, it will include information like location. It will include information like demographics, academic performance, like how the school's doing in reading and in math. You can also see kind of awards that maybe schools have won, as well as any contact information. One thing I wanted to say is that unfortunately this year, because there wasn't statewide testing that happened this past spring in schools because of the school closures, the data, the information about school performance on here is about a year out of date. But we think it's helpful to have something there, even if it's not like the most up to date. So as soon as schools start testing again and we get that information, that will all be on the website, but that probably won't be for another many months. So I just want to let everybody know that. Also, I see some questions coming in, so I can pause for a moment. I know I'm throwing a lot out there.
Yes, Maria got to one of the questions asking if the dates would be similar to the following year, and the answer was yes, that last year enrollment was also from November to February.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And just an inquiry about signing in. So is there a username and password needed? And if you don't have that information, where can you go to find that?
Great questions. Yes. And thank you, Maria, for answering that. Yeah, the dates are always fairly similar. They might change by a week or two, depending. Like this year, we opened the application a little bit later than last year. But yes, always look out. It's always going to be probably in just the November range, and then usually staying open through February or so. But they do change. So keep an eye out for those dates. And now in terms of login, yeah, we're actually going to talk about that in just a moment. So we can go to the next slide. One other thing I just wanted to share that we know that a lot of families have lots of questions about school tours. Like, what do I ask? What are kind of questions I should be asking? What kind of information should I be looking for? We developed a checklist of questions this year that families can access. As of right now, it's translated in English and Spanish, but I'd be more than happy to work with somebody to translate into Cantonese if somebody, if families are interested. So certainly, at the Brilliant Baby program, if you're hearing from families that they would like this resource, we certainly would love to share that out. Next slide. Great, so we talked a little bit about age cutoffs. So we'll get to the login information in just a moment, but before that, I just want to share in terms of age cutoffs. So if your child is going to be 5 years old on or before September 1st of next year, of 2021, they're eligible to apply for kindergarten. So right now, if they'll be 5 by next September 1st, you can apply for kindergarten for them. If they're not going to be 5 yet, but they're going to turn 5 between September 2nd and December 2nd, they're eligible for transitional kindergarten. So that's a year-long program. And then if they are not going to be 5 yet, but they're going to be 3 to 4 years old before on September 1st of next year, they're eligible for pre-K. So I know that's I always have to wrap my head around that a little bit, because it's I always have to think like, okay, next year, but we're right now. And so if anyone has questions on this, certainly feel free to reach out and we can go through that and talk through specifically like when your child's birthday is, what grade they'll be eligible for. So I know it's a little confusing. Okay, great. So this is the login page. So when you click on apply to charter schools, oh, somebody said, can you use an example? Yes, I can do that. So let's say, for example, your child turns 5 years old this upcoming June. So let's say June 26th or June 27th of 2021, they turn 5 years old. That means that they will be 5 years old on or before kindergarten of next year. So they'll be eligible for kindergarten. Now let's say that I have a child that is turning 5 on October 15th. That means that they're not eligible for kindergarten, but they are eligible for transitional kindergarten. And now let's say I have a kid who was born on March 3rd. They're turning 4 on March 3rd, which means that they're not going to be 5 until the following March 3rd of 2022. That means they're not eligible for transitional kindergarten or for kindergarten. They would be eligible for pre-K. And I see an example here. Okay, so my son turned 4 next year. So should I apply for pre-K? His birthday's in August. Yes. Okay, so hang on. So if they're turning 4 next year in August, they would be eligible for pre-K. So the next year after that is when they would be eligible for kindergarten, because they would be 5 in August of 2022, which means that they would hit this cutoff. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so the login page, yeah, so this is what it looks like. You will see, oh, I see another one. My son turns 5 April 2022. Yeah, so that means that they would, so in April, that means that they would not hit the transitional kindergarten or kindergarten cutoff for this upcoming school year. It would be the following year. So right now, they'd be eligible for pre-K, but not yet transitional kindergarten. Great. Okay, so here's where you can enter a username and password. If you don't have one yet, which makes complete sense if you don't have a child that's already in the school system, you can go ahead and create an account. So in that yellow bar below the sign in, and again, this can be translated. So this will, if you chose a different language in the dropdown, this will also be a different language. And you can also see actually here in the menu bar where it's in gray. Sorry, I'm trying to like point things out on my screen, but I don't. My mouse, you can't see my mouse. But in the gray bar where it says welcome, that is where, sorry, up in the top, yeah, there we go. That's where you can choose the language. So it's offered in, I think, five different languages. And if you need help in translation into a different language, you can call us and we can help. We don't want language to serve as a barrier for anybody. We certainly want to be sure to help every single family in Oakland, regardless of whatever language you speak. So if you want to create an account, yeah, you can go and click on in the yellow bar below the cute little girl on the right. It says create an account. You would click on that and you would enter either your email address or your cell phone number. Those are kind of the two things that you can use as your username. And then you would create your own password and you can make that whatever you want it to be. So you can create an account very easily just by doing that. And then it will guide you through the steps. It will have you enter in your name. It'll have you entering your child's name, their birth date, your address, and other kind of information like that. And then when you click on apply to district schools, you'll be brought to the OUSD application. So if you go to the next slide, it looks very similar, where you can enter in an email address or a cell phone number and then enter in a password. One really exciting thing that we have done with OUSD over the last couple of years is you can use the same username and password for both your charter application and your OUSD application. So you don't have to remember 2 different passwords and 2 different usernames. You can use the same one for both. Great. So just a couple final notes. Just be sure to explore your school options on oaklandschoolfinder.org. That is the website that has all the schools listed. It has all the information about the schools and also has the applications. Also, again, applications are now open through February 5th. So be sure to explore your options, ask questions, and let us know if you need any help. And I'll be sharing my email address and phone number in just a little bit. And then also one other thing I just want to announce is that we have a family ambassador program now. We do things like this. We talk to families and people out in the community who want to know more about enrollment. We train actual community members on how to talk to family and friends about enrollment. And we offer stipends and gift cards for doing that. So if anybody's interested, you can let me know and I'll tell you how to do that. Great. And so just a few things, stay connected. Again, our website is oaklandenrolls.org. You can call us or text us. So that 510-454-9360 number, that is our phone number. You can access us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We always have people on the phone lines. We have multilingual support. And so if you call and you need you need support with another language, you can let the person who answered the phone know that just maybe by saying the language that you want access to, and we'll call you back with a person who can translate. And so we certainly want to help. You can text us also. You can check us out on social media on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Oakland Enrolls. I said here, visit us, but for now we're closed. And so we don't want to lead you to our office while we're closed. And so we won't be doing visits for now, but hopefully in the new year, once things, hopefully calm down a little bit with COVID and coronavirus, we'll be able to do that again soon. But I will also share email addresses in the chat. So my personal email address is Lisa Gibbestegak at oaklandenrolls.org. And I know that's a little bit long. So if you don't remember that, you can just email contact@oaklandenrolls.org. And that also will get to the right spot and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. All right, so I'm happy to take any more questions if anybody has any.
It doesn't look like people have questions. All right, well, with that, we can thank our partners enough for being so helpful, informative, and available also to provide this information again and again. They know how important this is for families. They know how important this is for all of you. So thank you to our partners, to our coaches for organizing, to our awesome interpreter. Thank you for being always a part of our community. And if there are any remaining comments or questions, or you want to follow up with our partners or with us individually, we're always happy to take your questions offline. But yeah, I guess with that, we're gonna let you go. Again, we appreciate you all so much for being here and being a part of this community. All right, Alexis, do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you so much. A lot of wonderful.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alexis.
Just saying thank you to our partners as well. This was great.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on Kelly Yee's engagement. My goodness, if that child is not in pre-K right now, she's ready.
I know. Look at her. So cute. All right. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Take
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.